But here's Chris Sale talking about something that I don't think anybody's really ever heard him talk about before when it's coming down to his age and maybe some injuries, pacing himself.
I wouldn't make it a full season redlining the whole time. And I think that's why guys are getting hurt a lot now. Most of the time we're pitching at max effort. Like I just know I can't maintain max effort, balls to the wall, 100% for 30 plus starts, 100 pitches per game, all that stuff. So you kind of have to pick your spots. Again, like sometimes I do get hot out there. My motor starts running hot, and you got guys on second and third, and you got one out. It's like, okay, well, now's the time. So it's like, okay, let's strand these runners here, and then you go back out for the next inning and you start pitching a little bit.
So it's an interesting philosophy, and it's a philosophy that makes sense, and maybe it's a philosophy he's never really subscribed to, Chris, until now.
Well, I do think when you're young, nobody should think they're invincible anymore. We keep talking about guys thinking they're Teflon. Well, how many car crashes do you need with people dying where you actually believe, no, they weren't Teflon, I am. When it comes to pitchers and their arms, nobody's Teflon. I don't care how great you are. I don't care, touched by God 6 times over. You're just as liable to come up with a problem in your arm as everybody else. I like what he said there. Maybe that's one of the problems. We talk about, I would think a splitter, if you're not supposed to be throwing one anatomically, don't throw one because it will come up and bite you. If you have a pitch that all of a sudden you want to change and you go, my shoulder's a little cranky, I dump out of that pitch. If you're going at 100%, there's no such thing as 150. But I do know what 150% attempt for a pitcher is. You throw 94, you're attempting to throw 100. You're out of your range. You're at an RPM that you will not survive in.
Why you have to be careful, especially if you're talking about older pitchers. Last year it worked out until the end with Chris Sale. Let's hope he turns things around this year. But we talked about Max Scherzer earlier. He is now on the 60-day injured list with that inflammation of the right thumb. They gave him, $15 million, Toronto? And Max Scherzer was one of the names in the offseason that was being discussed here. Max Fried goes to New York. He's pitching well. But there you go. It's 50-50. To bring up the term again, it's a crapshoot. A.J. Minter started pitching well for the Mets. 2-year deal, second-year option, $11 million this year. You better believe he's going to cash in now on the $11 million next year. He got hurt. He's done for the season. If you're the Braves, you can ill afford to do things like that. And this goes back to what we said when they didn't sign any big-name pitchers in the rotation especially. Our philosophy was, maybe it's double A's as well, don't know for sure, but the philosophy in the room here was you're better off rolling the dice on guys like Grant Holmes. Bryce Elder, I didn't bring him up, but guys like Grant Holmes and guys like at the time Ian Anderson, because they weren't going to be any worse than what some of these other veterans were going to be, and you were going to pay them a lot less than a guy like Max Scherzer, who is now done for a while.
It's a $12 million job to be the guy that hangs on, and everybody says, oh, look, he might give us 160 innings. He's a veteran. He's been around. He's 33 years old. Give him 1 year, $12 million. Well, then it turns into, because the guy's a Hall of Famer, it's $15 million, but as Jim Bowden said, and he was right, he had the problems last year. He's got the same problem.
Jim Bowden joined us earlier in the program. You can hear that interview at The Fan, 680thefan.com, the website, and the Fan app.
And Jim agrees. I'm buying bats. I'm drafting arms. I mean, I can't afford to buy an arm. Like in the NFL, think about it this way. With an offensive lineman, he's 27, 28 years old. I know he's being banged around, but how many offensive linemen really have career-ending injuries? You either can play or you don't. They draft somebody who's better than you. But how many really go down in a career-ending injury?
I mean,
not many.
It doesn't seem to happen a lot.
No. So if you're 5 years into your career, you hit free agency, I'll buy an offensive lineman. You've trained on their dime. I've watched all the film, and there's not a chance like a pitcher that I have to cross my fingers every time. By the way, Nick, you got to worry about guys in bullpen sessions. You got to worry about a guy in the second inning of a game in May.
You got to worry about everything.
With a pitcher. So
everything.
And we ask them to do less, and we're paying them more. It's terrible business at its surface. I got to draft an abundance of pitchers, and I'll buy bats, and I'll hope the back end at $770,000. When Donaldson, remember what the Riley math was? I remember doing the Riley math. It was like Donaldson was going to get 25 or 26 million. I said, so you're going to tell me that he's 40 times better than Austin Riley? Because that was like the numbers. It was 40. He's not 40 times better. So if you spend your money wisely elsewhere, I understand that type of non-investment.
And that obviously worked out, letting Josh Donaldson walk and letting Austin Riley play third base.